It's been less than 3 months since Joseph Parker easily dealt with Deontay Wilder. On paper, the Alabama Slammer was the pretty big favourite. You could say he performed poorly. I've heard some people just try and say he was completely shot. I thought Parker performed very well. That was more of a factor. And now, with the same kind of confidence he had before fighting Wilder, he throws himself into a equally, probably more dangerous Zhilei Zhang. The Chinaman, who twice splattered Joseph Parker conqueror Joe Joyce, has really quick hands. Comparably quick to Parker's, actually. I'm thinking probably the last guy Parker fought who had similarly quick hands was probably Andy Ruiz. Very different kind of fighter, much shorter dimensions. So Parker is going to have to use that thing that Zhang is not so used to seeing, and that is very good mobility. For my prediction, I'm going to pick out a few points to make the case for both men, the tactics they probably need to employ if they want to be successful, and I'm going to kick it off with Joseph Parker. Now, we all know his feet, his superior mobility is going to be key in constructing a, most people leaning towards 12-round unanimous decision. They will be looking for the knockout as well. I think you've always got it in your mind that we need to get this guy's respect as well. So if you only think points, it's like you're almost thinking, I'm trying to escape. So no, you go in and you take the knockout if it's there. But we know it's going to be based on making use of the ring. We all know Zhang doesn't have particularly quick feet. He is rooted for power. He shuffles along. If you get within punching range with him, yeah, you can have some problems. And so, kind of like Parker did with Wilder, I want to see him just out of range and try and get him to follow a little bit. Try and get him to reach for your head, and we need to see some good head movement. Try and get him working and a little bit frustrated, because I think we all know Zhang does not have as good conditioning as Parker. Some spoke about some possible health ailment against Jerry Forrest, where he did seem to start to unravel unusually without shipping too much punishment, but still, he doesn't have great top-end stamina. So Parker wants to be moving around the ring, he wants to be staying out of the corners, and then looking to walk him onto his right hand. And this is a way for him, of course, to pardon the fact that he has a shorter reach. He wants to get Zhang overreaching a little bit, then come in with your quick feet, pop one to the body, and then be looking to loop it to the head. I don't think it's that we're going to be looking for some big one-punch KO here from Parker. I think the idea with Andy Lee will be, keep rinsing and repeating with this, let's tire out this big bull. While, of course, not letting him get set. Where things get tricky here is that, of course, Zhang is going to be threatening a lot more than a fairly impotent Wilder was doing last time out. So there's going to be moments where they're going to get close, they're going to be in mid-range, and Parker's probably going to look to seek salvage at some point on the Chinaman's chest. This is when he needs to be very careful about making his inroads and his exits. That's when Andy Lee needs to be very clear in the corner so they can navigate those choppy waters and stay in control. So there's a definite route to victory here for Parker with the momentum he's got, the confidence. It won't be through physicality and relying on your chin like it was with Hrgovic, which was, either way you look at it, a very close fight, but Zhang's stamina did let him down at the end. That's why it went to the Croatian. With Parker, he can achieve the same end, but through being elusive, using the ring, frustrating him, making him miss, making him pay. So then, what do you do if you've got a guy who's trying to move around the ring all the time? Well, of course, you cut off the ring and you force exchanges. While an 80-inch reach is nothing to be sniffed at, it still kind of looks like Zhang has stumpy arms. I think it's just his thickly set build. And maybe his preference as well for shorter punches. If he can get you to engage, because of how well balanced he is, because of his variety when it comes to his arsenal, he is going to come out on top against Parker, no question. And putting the comparable hand speed just to one side for the moment, it's also a matter of accuracy. Zhang is a more accurate puncher. Parker's right hand, the way he uncoils it, he's had this problem, I think, since day one. It's almost like he kind of swats with the punch. You see his intentions before he throws it, and he wants for accuracy. A lot of people get away from the Parker right hand. He hasn't got that ability to just shoot it right down the middle and with the shoulders relaxed. You kind of always can see him about to release. And so if Zhang gets a sniff and starts to see when Parker's about to go for it and he fancies his chances, Zhang may, like he did in the early stages against Jerry Forrest, intercept with a short little left counter. And the way Zhang uses his left is another key point here, which is he blinds with it. He also did this against Forrest in one of the many times he took a trip to the canvas. And of course, it's how he set up that stoppage, that brutal KO in the second fight with Joe Joyce. It's you throw the left hand and it almost seems like it just stays out for that little bit of extra blinding time. Boom, and then I whip in the right hook. You didn't see it coming. And so, of course, what we're saying here is that Zhang, in a much more sophisticated manner and in probably different ways than Deontay Wilder ever could, sets traps. Everything could be going swimmingly for Parker. We might be in round 7, 8, 9. But if it remains a low-pace fight and Zhang doesn't tire, he might just finally get it right with that cheeky little move. And really, just his short punches in general. Short punching itself, it is a separate art form. Not many fighters have it. Zhang certainly does. He has a significantly more kitted out arsenal than Deontay Wilder. The uppercut, the hook, the straight left, the way, as I've just said, he leads you onto the hook from the left. There's loads of dangerous patterns and things that Parker is going to have to be wary of. But when you're more of a technician like Zhang is, when you can get your opponent to be worried about a number of punches and you're starting to make them overcompute, that's when you can land the one that they're not expecting. That's when you can land maybe a really short uppercut when Parker tries to seek salvage on the chest. And so while I can definitely see the route to victory for Parker, while I would like to see him do it, I would like to be wrong. I'm thinking the kind of fight it will be, probably slow-paced. If I factor in and entertain the idea that there was something wrong with Zhang in that majority draw to Jerry Forrest, and we're looking somehow now at 40 plus, an improved fighter, I just think the technician in Zhang is going to line up Parker for something big at some point. In terms of integrity, it basically is the main event of Knockout Chaos, but with there apparently being a rematch clause here, you can't look too far ahead. Parker and I'm sure Zhang have both got title aspirations, but they're going to have to be put on hold a little bit as they fight this fight and then the rematch, while both happily making lots of money, and then they decide how they play the rest of their career, depending what's left of them. Who are you picking? How? Why? Spoons up.